We're talking edge today on the PHLY Eagles show. Is there someone who could make sense for the Eagles at 23? What kind of player do you want? Do you want someone who's going to get after the quarterback or someone who's going to hold up on early downs? Because there's all kinds of options in this draft. We're talking about it next with E.J. Smith and Fran Duffy. Stay with us. And welcome to the PHLY Eagles podcast on a Tuesday. Bo Wulf, E.J. Smith live from the Xfinity studio and presented by Bet365 and Ashley. We're talking edge today as we continue our position previews for the Eagles as the NFL draft approaches. Tight ends in the books. Edge today, different group entirely. Yeah. Whereas yesterday it's like there's one guy at the top.
Yeah.
And then like, okay, maybe there's a couple guys you like on day 3. There's like 6 guys who are going to go in the first round here.
Yeah, first-ish.
All kinds of guys who check all the boxes. Now, some of them will go long before the Eagles have a chance, but this was a fun group to go through. How did you enjoy the experience?
I like watching edge rushers. It's a pretty straightforward evaluation a lot of times, just in the sense that, you know, I feel like you can tell quicker if you're going to like an edge rusher than some of these other positions.
You want to see how they move.
Yeah, exactly.
How's that body moving around?
And it's fun because you can put them into different buckets. I want to note 2 things before we start this exercise, like big picture takeaways looking at this edge group. First and foremost, if you look at Fran's big board, he's got 5 guys in the top 16, and then his next guy is at 46 on his big board.
Okay.
Which I think I think it feels that way when you watch this group. There's 5 or 6 guys that you're like, yeah, I could see it with this guy. I think he's a first round like type talent, maybe late first, early second for some of these guys. And then after that, it feels like there's a big cluster of players that are like imperfect in one way or another. And you kind of have to pick the flaw that you're most comfortable with.
I think that's right. We will get to it. We're going to do the show today. We're going to talk about some of the first round guys up top. We'll do a segment on the second day 2 guys that we each like respectively. Then we'll bring Fran in and talk about some day 3 guys. But I there are some second round guys who I like and have specific thoughts on.
There's a second round guy who.
But then after like edge 9 on Fran's board, all of those other guys are a little bit indistinguishable.
I think edge 9 was a good cutoff point after.
There's like there's the small speedy guys over here.
Yeah, it's funny that
there's the big hulkers over here.
There's really a big delineation. Like there's not very many normal edge rushers in this class. Like, you know, if
after
you look,
the top,
even at the top, like David Bailey is like 6'3", 250. Like, okay, yeah, that's a normal edge rusher. But like I would say Rueben Bain and Arvell Reese are also like kind of in one of those 2 buckets where it's like you're either kind of like a really big guy who doesn't have the movement skills, but you're physical, or you're a smaller guy, and it's like Nick Bonito, like, oh yeah, like this guy could maybe be like an undersized guy, but with power and explosiveness off the edge. So I don't know. It was a fun group to watch because of that. You kind of had to figure out who could bridge the gap.
Well, let's talk about those 3 guys you just mentioned up top, because those are the 3 guys who it would be shocking if the Eagles have any chance to even trade up for. Now, Arvell Reese and David Bailey especially, those guys are going to go top 5 potentially. Yeah. Likely. But do you have any strong opinions about those 2?
Not too many. David Bailey's awesome to watch. Arvell Reese is awesome to watch. With Arvell Reese, I wrote, I'll let Fran figure out where this guy fits in the league. He's just fun. He's just a fun guy to watch play football. He had so much more power than I was expecting him to have at his size. And listen, I think because it is it's a more popular position in the league now, but there are a few examples of like those undersized guys who move from off-ball linebacker to edge rusher. Like Nick Bonito is like, I mentioned him a second ago, like he is like the trademark, like if you're going to be 6'3", 240, like, you know, oh, he could be like Nick Bonito or Hassan Reddick. Like there's not that many examples of it working in the league, but with Arvell Reese, like I think it's going to work in the league for him just because he is so powerful at that size. He kind of, you know, one of the other things, like, you know, I hear Fran talk draft so much, I'm starting to pick up some of the phrases that he uses a lot. Like Arvell Reese, to me, like the size isn't a problem unless it's a problem, and it doesn't seem to be an issue for him.
Yeah, I mean he's 6'4", 241. He's a little bit underneath, but yeah, he is powerful. I will say, it's a little tricky with Arvell Reese because
Are you about to make fun of Matt Patricia?
no,
Okay.
I would have a tough time if I were who has the number. The Jets have the number 2
Jets
pick,
are
right?
number 2. Yeah.
Picking between Arvell Reese and David Bailey.
Yeah, it's
because
tough.
David Bailey is a more certain prototypical edge rusher. He's going to be on the field. He's a tick older, whereas Arvell Reese is going to be 21 as a rookie, but you haven't seen him do it full time. I find that actually I think that would be a difficult conversation and a difficult decision to make who I would pick, because I think the Arvell Reese thing is a little trickier than just, well, this guy's freaking awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably going to take the right defensive coordinator. If it's a Matt Patricia type, you might see him playing like off ball and being like the guy running the pole in like a cover 2, and it's like I don't know if I want that for him. But he's such a good player. I think he's going to make it work. He falls on the right side of the like Hassan Reddick, Isaiah Simmons like spectrum to me. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, but think about Hassan Reddick.
Yeah, it took him time.
It worked for him.
Yeah, it took time.
After 4 years. And they just had to stop trying to make him be something that he wasn't.
Yeah, I think that's probably reflective of the class. Because you're right. Like even Nick Bonito I think he was a 2nd-round pick. Like you usually don't draft a 6'4", 240-pound edge rusher with short arms. By the way, you don't draft them top 5. But with this year's class, the way that the board falls, I like some other edge rushers better than Arvell Reese. We'll talk about some of them coming up here, but I do think like, with the way the class is, you can overthink it with a player like him. He's been impactful in college, and he's a fun player. Now,
where do you fall on Rueben Bain, the 22-year-old as a rookie who plays with violence, is a little bit undersized, 6'2", 263, and has those itty-bitty, teeny-tiny Carnotaurus arms?
I'm going to use the expression again. It's not a problem unless it's a problem.
Yeah, I know, though.
It does not come up when you watch him.
Yeah, but how many NFL caliber tackles is he going against?
I
mean, listen, he is so fun to watch. He plays with the violence that you want, but just to contextualize how small his arms are.
Yeah.
Okay. I've got the sample of elite edge guys that I have is the biggest sample of all the positions because of the chicanery of the Pro Bowl rosters where like linebackers go in as edges. So there are 57 guys here. And of the 57 guys who went on to make the All-Pro team or an initial Pro Bowl team, the guy with the smallest arms is 31 and a half. That's Melvin Ingram. Like, we had a big issue with Aiden Hutchinson's arms when he came out, and those were 32 and an eighth. That was the 3rd smallest of any of them. Only one guy is under 32 inches. That's Melvin Ingram. Rueben Bain is under 31 inches.
Yeah.
He's 30 and 7/8. It's like his arms are really, really small.
Yeah, I understand.
That's why I go Carnotaurus, not T-Rex.
I respect that. I understand the reservation. I love the Brandon Graham comp that Fran has in the guide, as well as Vinny Curry, I believe. And I think that is like the type of player that Rueben Bain is. Listen, I didn't watch games and games of tape of him, so I can't sit here and say personally I'm convicted and like it's not a problem for him because it didn't come up in college. His arms are shorter. Like Brandon Graham, I just pulled it up. He was at 32 and a quarter inch arms at the combine, so even shorter the arms than Brandon Graham, but. Still, when you watch him play, he has unusual traits in other facets of his game that I think can compensate for that.
I mean, this is one where it's like, okay, in this draft class, maybe you pinch your nose, but I would take a guy we're going to talk about over him for sure.
Oh, I agree. Yeah. Let's talk about him.
Okay, let's get to the big deal presented by our friends at Wawa, and let's discuss the 2 edge players who have a real chance to be there for the Eagles at 23 and be a Howie Roseman type selection. And I do think, in general, if the Eagles are not going to take an offensive player in the first round, I would put like 95 of my turkeys on it being an edge player.
And what, 4 on it being a safety?
Yeah, and that would really like, surprise me.
Caleb Downs,
or Peter Woods, and you move him to the outside or something like that.
Yeah.
But so that is to say, Keldric Faulk and T.J. Parker. Keldric Faulk from Auburn, T.J. Parker from Clemson. Keldric Faulk, Fran's top-rated edge player.
Yep, and 20th on the consensus big board.
And it seems to have a chance to really be there. I'll let you go first because this is one where I just don't get it.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I do not understand why people are slow to come around on him as a top 5, top 10 pick in this year's draft. And I want to talk to you about the player first, and then I want to tell you, I was texting Fran this morning about a similar situation like from last year and if this could be playing out again. First, the player. He's 6'6", 276 pounds. He's a Bruce Feldman's Freaks List alumni, and he squats 700 pounds. He doesn't turn 21 until September. Some people view him as an interior rusher. Fine. He's awesome. He's great. I think he'd be good at it. Like, he didn't have insane production in college, but like Trayvon Walker.
He had 7 sacks as a true sophomore playing inside.
Trayvon Walker was the number 1 pick in the draft a few years ago. Like, it is, it is to me, like, there's nothing. And again, the other thing I wanted to say, he's got great play personality. It seems like he's got great character from what's said about him. Like, he's a young, explosive pass rusher. I don't care which position he ends up at. I think he is a top 10 pick.
Yeah, he checks every box for all the things you said. He was a captain as a true junior. I think at the very end of his sophomore season, they were already moving in that direction. The physical tools are there. He's got long arms. He's big and strong. He didn't run the 40, so we don't have the testing results.
Elite jumpers.
Right.
Elite jumper, though.
Explosive jumps. Yes. As you said, turns 21 in September. This is a profile that we're talking about, like, okay, maybe in this draft you hold your nose and take Rueben Bain at 12 or whatever. This is a profile that is a top 15 pick every year.
Yeah. Even if he is a defensive tackle. Like, okay. Like, that's still valuable. That's
wins
still
with
great.
power, holds up against the run.
Yeah.
Is able to bend the edge when he's asked to, although he doesn't do it a ton. And I also think this is a player who would solve a lot of problems for the Eagles specifically.
Yeah.
Because you draft Keldric Faulk, guess what? You don't really necessarily have to re-sign Moro Ojimo. You have your third down replacement as an interior rusher. Yep. Or Nolan Smith doesn't hold up on the edge, you have Keldric Faulk.
Yep.
Like, this is a pick to me that, like, you wanted to. I think we overstate. How he did it again. How does Howie keep doing this?
Though. Yeah.
But this is one where if the Eagles sit at 23 and Keldric Faulk falls in their lap, it is going to be October, and it's going to be like, oh my God, Howie did it again.
Yeah. No, it's funny. I was texting Fran earlier, and I'm trying to find the exact text, but I'll just summarize it here. I said, if Keldric Faulk falls to the Eagles at 23, and the Eagles take Keldric Faulk at 23, then the Eagles will just laugh at everybody else in the league, and all of the NFL fans will be sitting there going, how did Howie Roseman pull this off? Like, and I'm not saying, listen, this could be like a Michael Williams situation from last year, where Fran's evaluation. I think like the upside play where it feels like, how is this guy going to fall that far into the draft? Maybe he won't. Maybe he will go top 15, and the consensus big board will catch up to where Fran has him. But yeah, if he's there for the Eagles at 23, I mean, after watching him, like, yeah, I would say if him and Sadiq are there,
I would take Keldric Faulk.
Yeah, you take Keldric Faulk there.
Yeah, and listen, we're Fran-pilled. There's no doubt about that.
But just watch.
But not all the time.
Just watch
not
the
all
guy.
the time.
A lot of the, I mean, there are a lot of evaluators that have him high. Now, I think, like, some of the guys that I made note of, like, who had him high today, Nate Tice and Mike Renner, they both have him listed at defensive tackle. So that might be part of some people's reservations, but I don't know. To me, he is going to be a productive pass rusher, and then he has a very clean profile.
I think it's it's a super clean profile. It's a great fit for the Eagles, I think.
Yeah.
I think this would be a home run for them. Now, how do you feel about T.J. Parker from Clemson?
I like T.J. Parker from Clemson. I have written
6'3"
here
6'3.5", 263.
Yeah, so he's a little bit of a squatty guy. Like, he doesn't have short arms or long arms. It's just kind of like
there's
standard arm
There's
length.
no red flags on this profile.
But as a shorter guy with like standard arm length for the position, he's got that natural leverage people like to talk about. You're a little bit lower, your pad level's lower. The thing that I loved about him, he's got really strong hands. Like, he's got pop in his hands, where he's just more powerful than you would expect based off the physical traits. The thing about TJ Parker is that if you're drafting him at 23 overall, it's a little bit of like an admission that you don't find like high level, high end prospects at that point in the draft at edge rusher, because he does not have the upside of the other guys in this class to me. But you're not going to find like Will Anderson at number 23 most years. It's not a home run swing. It is like, I don't want to say take your medicine because that's a little bit too like it's poo-pooing the pick too much.
It's a single.
It's a double. It's like, I know that this guy can be like a rock solid number 2 edge rusher in a rotation. He can play 3 downs, and he still has like theoretical upside, but it's not necessarily like, he's not one of these guys where it's like, oh man, he's going to be an all-pro one day. He is like your meat and potatoes edge rusher in a rotation.
Yeah, I had the same take you did, is that I feel like there's a as far as draft prospects go, a relatively narrow band of outcomes for him.
Yeah.
I think he's a very good player.
Yeah.
And I think this is one where, unlike Keldric Faulk, this one would come down to, would you rather have a good player at a premium position or a potentially great player at a non-premium position? That's the conversation that you would have in the draft room. I think TJ Parker would be a fine pick at 23.
Yes. Now, we should mention Fran has Zion Young significantly lower than TJ Parker, but a lot of the other, I think on the consensus boards, Zion Young is 38 and TJ Parker. Okay, so the consensus boards still have them pretty far apart. But there were a few, I saw some evaluators.
Yeah, I mean, you told me that right before the show. I had no idea. Because I watched Zion Young and I expected him to be about where Fran had him.
Yeah.
I thought, okay, it's a fine day 3 guy.
It's funny. Okay. So Parker and Young are 10 spots apart on the consensus big board. I think it was Dane Brugler's top 100. They're 2 spots apart.
Okay.
There are some evaluators that have them as like essentially the same player.
If you don't know,
do have some similarities. Yeah, sorry.
6'6", 262. So he is a bigger prospect.
Yeah.
You know, most sacks he ever had in a season in 4 years was 6.5, which is not disqualifying, but it's
a late breakout though. Yeah.
Late breakout. He's got long arms at 33 inches. But
when I saw where Fran had him, when I was watching him, I didn't see like the round projection, and I was like, "Oh, this guy's like pretty interesting on day 3." And then I saw where he was actually projected. I'm like, "Oh man, like that's significantly higher." I think he is like, we have TJ Parker at home as a prospect a little bit, where it's like if you miss out on TJ Parker because TJ Parker goes in round 1, like maybe like toward the end of day 2, you're like, yeah, sure.
Well, the other player with round 1 consideration and likelihood, it sounds like, is Akheem Mesidor, Rueben Bain's teammate from Miami.
Yeah. You're going to,
I know you hate if you know anything about Akheem Mesidor, you know how I feel about him. 6'3", 259, plays with violence, 12 and a half sacks last year. Really fun to watch. Will be 25 as a rookie. Has a foot injury thing that some people think is a problem. And his arms are short below the line of everybody except for Melvin Ingram and Cameron Wake. That's a no for me.
Yeah,
where he's gonna have to go.
Yeah,
I am not using a pick in the first 3 rounds on him.
You know what I wrote down for him? He is who Bo thought Nate Borkature was.
You got to get off the Borkature thing. Now, by the way, we got to talk about this. Both Nate Borkature.
Oh no. I didn't think we were going back to Nate Borkature.
Well,
you just told me I got to get off the Nate Borkature thing. I agree with you on Mesidor, by the way. I think that my hang up with him is like
the thing you said about Borkature yesterday. If he was younger and more productive, we'd be talking about him as like a second-round pick. Well, yeah, like. So would you.
No, that's not true.
Let's close the book on the Wawa big deal.
I could be younger and more productive and not be.
So the Eagles brought in Borkature for a pre-draft visit.
Yeah. What are you going to put?
They've also brought in Romello Height, who we'll talk about. Both of those guys will be 25 years old as rookies. And I see what Howie Roseman is doing here. Okay. What he is doing is the same thing the Eagles have done with the offensive coordinator search. They're bringing these guys into the building because they want to add them to the coaching staff.
The marketplace of ideas.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, yeah, this might be a Vic Fangio replacement in a few years.
2 years down the road. Nate Borkature is coaching up our tight ends. We're in business, baby.
Oh, man. That's good. That's good. Yeah, Mesidor, my hang-up with him is like, you can't be like, oh, his play personality, he's just out there beating guys up. It's like, yeah, he's 25 years old. Like, that can't be your selling point. I don't think that was Borkature's selling point, for the record. But with Mesidor, I think a lot of the evaluation came down to like the physicality he plays with. And it's like, yeah, I don't know how that translates when he's playing against grown men.
Yeah, I think if I was doing I used to do like a worst case scenario mock draft and a best case scenario mock draft for the Eagles. If I was doing a worst case scenario mock draft, it would be Mesidor at 23 overall.
Yeah.
Like realistic thing.
Yep.
You know, like
I agree.
I think that would be not good. All right. Time to take a break. We'll be back with much more on the other side. On the other side, EJ and I will tell you our favorite day 2 edge prospects for the Eagles. He's got someone he is very excited about. I don't know who it is yet, but I have a guess. All right, quick 60-second timeout as we have been breaking down prospects in the NFL draft, especially the options that make sense for the Eagles. Hunting for the perfect player, fixing weaknesses, finding the smartest pick, making the trade that takes the team to the next level. Well, that's the same energy that lives at Elkins Chevrolet with their trade-up event happening right now. This is where you make the smart move. Look at what you've got. Figure out what you need. Look at your options. Then step up and save. You'll find the perfect ride, that hidden gem that's going to upgrade your whole day at a great price. Whether it's a new Silverado, an SUV, or maybe a pre-owned vehicle, this is your pick. Make the trade, upgrade that ride, and come out ahead. Big time. Should have made that move when I had the hand right in front of me. Take it to the next level at the trade-up event going on now at Elkins Chevrolet. Real brothers, real deals, and a whole lot of honking good service. Elkins Chevrolet on Route 73 South in Marlton. Together, let's drive. You know I'm all about that ace. About that ace. No trouble here. Let's talk Ace Hardware Home Services, because if the heat and humidity is sneaking in or the AC is not cranking like it should, don't you worry your pretty little head, because Ace Hardware Home Services has got you covered. From AC repairs to water heaters, plumbing, and electrical, their trusted local pros bring the same helpful service you know from Ace right to your home. Whether it's a quick fix for a big summer project, they got the tools, the know-how, and the people to get it done right. Ace Hardware Home Services is bringing helpful to your home. So visit acehardwarehomeservices.com today to get started. I know you got something wrong in that house. I know there's something that's bugging you. And I know that the right place to go is Ace Hardware Home Services, because I've done it. It's worked for me. It's going to work for you. Ace Hardware Home Services. Check them out and tell them that PHLY sent you. Back on the PHLY Eagles podcast. It's Edge Day as we turn our attention to the NFL draft. But first, some super chats to check out from our loyal listeners. Not Brendan Ekstrom. Says, I bet EJ's house has so many buckets.
Yeah, there's going to be some things you'll hear me say a lot, and I'm not going to
wait till we get to the wide receivers. That's my bucket day.
Buckets. I could see a path. It's a tough needle to thread. Hey, listen.
Super chat from Jack Royer, who says, little late, but he was loving the Joe Royer talk yesterday. The Cincinnati tight end. No relation as far as I know, but I'll still claim him.
Oh, yeah, you got to claim him. That's
all day long.
That's my dad's thing. Anybody with the last name Smith, like, oh, yeah, that's your cousin. It's like, I don't think so.
Who's the worst Smith?
The worst Smith? What about, like, the best Smith? I could probably do better with that.
Sure. Answer a different question.
I mean, I don't know who the worst Smith. Probably somebody who's done something terrible.
Probably.
I'm sure there are some out there.
Oh, I bet.
Jackson Smith and Jigba is the one my dad does like to point to as like, yeah, that could be your cousin.
Okay, that's a good one. All right, we've built it up here. You got someone who you are very excited about on day 2.
Who's your guess?
Now the Eagles have 3 picks on day 2. Chance one of these guys could be an edge. You want to know my guess?
Yeah.
My guess is Dani Dennis-Sutton.
You are right on the money. Dani Dennis-Sutton. Everything about his profile, I love. I honestly don't know why he's not talked about a little bit higher on this big board. 6'5", 268 from Penn State. He is a 3.
I have 6'6".
I had 6'5", maybe 6'6".
Okay.
He's a 3-cone superstar. You want me to do this now? Sub 7 seconds.
He's one of 2 guys who ran the 3-cone at the combine this year,
which speaks to he knew he was going to do well.
Yes.
So this is from Fran's Draft Guide, which you guys should all become a diehard so you can get access to Fran's Draft Guide. A list of edge rushers who ran the 3-cone in 6.9 seconds or quicker that weigh over 255 pounds. Joey Bosa, Max Crosby, Aiden Hutchinson, Trayvon Walker, Odafe Owe, Sam Hubbard, Jordan Willis, and Kyle Fitz.
Kylie
Fitz. I apologize.
It's okay.
It's good company.
Good company.
So my pound the table.
His relative athletic score is the 7th best of any edge taken in the last 10 drafts, according to Fran.
My pound the table thing for Dani Dennis-Sutton here, especially for the Eagles. He feels so much like an Eagles prospect. He's a former 5-star recruit from Delaware, played at Penn State. His play personality is awesome. Like he's really nasty on the field, which is going to get Vic Fangio excited. His athletic testing to me is an important part of this too, because it informs the upside that he has. You watch the player, the tape shows you like a high floor player. Like this guy is going to play in the league. He's going to fit in the league by what you see him do on the field. And then you see what he did in the athletic testing. It's like, okay, this guy has another level to take still here. He's 22 years old, I believe, or will be 22 as a rookie. He's got Eagles written all over him in a way that got me very excited.
And came for a pre-draft visit, so we know that they're interested to some degree. What do you think I think of Dani Dennis-Sutton?
You're going to bring up the spin move. You're going to be like, oh, that spin move, it's not going to work in the NFL.
No, I liked him a lot. I'm with you.
Oh, I
thought it was really exciting.
I thought you were going to cold water.
8.5 sacks each of the past 2 seasons.
Yeah.
I think the way that you just said it was really good context.
Yeah.
The way he plays gives you a floor, and the athletic testing gives you a ceiling.
Yeah.
I think this would be a totally fine second round pick. I think it would be. I think you would be very happy with him as your second round pick.
He was one of the favorite guys I watched. I sent his.
If you didn't take him, he would have been my guy.
Yeah, I sent a cut up of his all 22 that I found on social through the draft guide. Again, shout out to the draft guide. I sent it to one of my buddies and I just said Eagle. Like this guy screams Eagles player here. Everything about the profile is like the boxes that Howie Roseman likes to check.
Yeah, and holds up well against the run. Can stay on the field on first and second down. He's not like the most polished pass rusher.
Yeah, I
think there's more there.
Yeah, he doesn't have like insane bend. If you're going to be nitpicky, like that's what you're going to say. It's like he doesn't run the hoop as well as some of the other guys in this class, but he's explosive and he's powerful. Like that's a great place to start. Sign me up. I love the guy. And he's got a cool name.
I liked him a lot.
He's got a cool name.
Dani. Dani, but pronounced Dani.
I was hoping it was going to be Dani Dennis-Sutton.
Oh, like that would be one end probably.
Leaning into like the.
But maybe we could get like a Dennis-Sutton jersey if the Eagles draft him.
Now you're talking. This guy was maybe my favorite player I watched.
Okay,
because I felt like
that's a good one.
I felt like I found something.
I like him a lot.
Felt like I found a diamond in the rough here.
Now I'll give you my guy, who's my other guy here.
Can I guess?
Sure.
I think you're gonna go Gabe Backus.
I liked Gabe Backus.
Same.
He is not my pick. Gabe Backus is Fran's edge 9. He's 6'3", 260 from Illinois. He is a power rusher.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of speed or slipperiness to his game, but he's trying to run through you. Reminded me a lot of AJ Epinesa. I think he would be a fine player. I would probably not want a second round pick on him. It feels like a third round value to me.
Yeah. He's another like take your medicine guy where it's like, he's not going to be a number 1 edge rusher in your rotation, but he's going to play for you. Yeah.
My guy is someone who I actually don't think is a great fit for the Eagles.
Okay.
And this is more just I really enjoyed watching him, and I feel like I believe in him. And that's R. Mason Thomas from Oklahoma. He was really fun to watch. Now, he is very small. He is 6'2.5", 241, with short arms and small hands. The only other guy in this entire 57-player edge sample who was both small and short like that, it was Hassan Reddick.
Yes.
And obviously he was not drafted as an edge rusher. So there are limitations here, and that's a reason why he's not going to go in the first round. He's small, and he only ran like a 4.67, so it's not like he's got elite athleticism.
Yeah.
But he's so slippery.
Yeah.
There was like he actually reminded me of Jalen Carter in the way that when watching Jalen Carter as a prospect, the way that he was able to laterally move so quickly from hole to hole, like it's really cool to watch. Like it's almost like he's like teleporting when he's pass rushing. It's very fun to watch. I liked him a lot.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a great fit for the Eagles. I don't think that's the kind of player they need.
Yeah.
I think they need somebody with more heft.
Yeah.
But I think he's going to be a fun player to follow in the league.
Yeah, he is like the opposite end of the coin to some of these he is the opposite of Gabe Backus. Like,
correct.
He is the high variance. We want to try and find a number 1 edge rusher. Like, if you asked me, like, I think R. Mason Thomas it'd be, very high range outcome for him, but I think he could be like at the top of an edge rusher rotation in a few years. But he could also be like a completely unusable player in the sense that, there's not a lot of, there's nothing to fall back on with him. He's a designated pass rusher prospect with really, really great traits. I thought he did have really good bend. Like around the corner, like he looks like, I think Hassan Reddick is a good comp in like his upside. That's what you like.
That's the thing. Hassan Reddick did test like an elite athlete.
Yeah, and the one thing about Hassan that I always like, I just from like having talked to a lot. I mean, I covered Hassan twice in his career, and I talked to a lot of people about him over time. He had way more power at that size than you would expect him to have. I don't know if our Mason Thomas really showed that when I watched, and from what I watched at the very least.
Now, shout out to Chisholm, our sicko friend, who covers Oklahoma. He was texting yesterday. He said he couldn't believe that Jaron Kanek, of all people, came up on the show. But I asked him, like, who do you believe in? And he said our Mason Thomas. Convinced that he will make it happen in the league. Now, I will also tell you, one of the great reasons to check out Fran's draft guide.
The story behind the name.
Yeah, I mean, he answers every question you have. Mm-hmm. And I know you're wondering, R. Mason Thomas, what is the R? R space Mason, what's it for? Well, Fran has the answer. His given name is R. Mason. It's not an abbreviation for anything. His mom's side of the family used a lot of the names that begin with the letter R, and she wanted to give a nod to that tradition while still doing things her own way.
I really actually love this. That. Yeah, but it's very cool. R. Mason Thomas is a great name, and like I think it informs a lot of the character, ringing endorsements of his character that you saw in Fran's draft guide. Again, that's another great thing about the draft guide is Fran will compile quotes where you'll kind of get to know the person, and it seems like he is like very widely admired for his personality. And yeah, it seems like, his mom was very intentional with the name and probably was very intentional raising him.
All right.
I don't know the guy, but it seems great.
I'm in on R. Mason Thomas. I don't think it's a great fit for the Eagles, but I like the player a lot.
It's a good playwright name, Yeah,
you need a period there.
George R. R. Martin. 2 R's. George R. R. Martin. Why is that funny? It's not funny.
George R. Mason's kind of funny.
George R. Mason.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, a fine name. R. Mason Thomas, strong name.
All right, there you go. Our day 2 guys who we like. Now we'll go to break, and on the other side, Fran Duffy himself, also the NFL draft analyst, will join us. We'll talk about some day 3 players who might make sense for the Eagles and get his thoughts on anybody else that we've talked about that he thinks we are not doing justice to.
Do you really want Jalen Hurts returning punts? What about Devontae Smith playing nose tackle? No, of course not. It's not worth the time, the risk, or the money. You want to keep your stars focused on what they do best, and the same idea applies to your businesses. For small and mid-sized businesses, competing with bigger companies isn't about working harder, it's about working smarter. With competition heating up, you can't afford to fall behind, and AI goes way beyond ChatGPT. It can go to overwhelming fast. That's why having a trusted guide like Togo matters. Instead of buying expensive AI tools, Togo helps you build exactly what you need at a fraction of the cost. Togo streamlines your operations by handling customer service, accounting, order management, logistics, admin, data entry, and even complex multi-step processes without the cost of building it all in-house. And they don't bill a dime until the real work begins. Programs start as low as $1,000 a month and are built to scale without breaking the bank. Visit harnesstogo.com and mention PHLY for a free operational assessment. Starting something new can be terrifying. When I started with this show, I remember wondering, what if nobody listens? What if my new co-host has this weird vendetta against Nate Borkacher? But sometimes you just have to take the leap. And it definitely helps when you've got the right tools behind you, like Shopify. Shopify is a commerce platform behind millions of businesses worldwide and about 10% of all e-commerce in the United States. You can build a beautiful online store with hundreds of ready-to-use templates, and Shopify's built-in AI tools can help with right product descriptions, page headlines, and even improve product photos. Plus, you can run email and social campaigns, manage inventory, handle shipping and returns, and track analytics all in one place. So it's time to turn those what-ifs into real dollars with Shopify today. Sign up for your $1 per month trial at shopify.com/allcity. Again, that's shopify.com/allcity to turn those what-ifs into real dollars in your pocket.
Welcome back to the PHLY Eagles podcast. C Block. Here we are. Talking about edge players, and it's time to bring in the great Fran Duffy, our All-City NFL draft analyst. Fran, how are you?
Doing great, guys. It's been great listening to the show. I've got lots of thoughts. I know we got more players to talk about too.
Well, let's get to it. Now, you're going to be in studio with us tomorrow. We've got the great event going on where everybody can watch you do some guys. Maybe some more news where some people outside the Philadelphia area can take part in something like that next week. But for now. Let's stay talking about these edge guys. What do you write down that you need to address from what we've already said?
Well, you made the point about the decision for the Jets at 2 between Arvell, Reese, and David Bailey, and I shared that same concern throughout most of the pre-draft process. He was trying to, basically like everyone penning in, oh yeah, Arvell Reese at number 2, and it's like, all right, well, Aaron Glenn is, we know how, Woody Johnson and how volatile that leadership can be in New York. They're in hot water. They need to show improvement right now. So are they really going to take a project, a huge projection there with Arvell Reese at number 2, as opposed to taking David Bailey? Even if you think that Reese has a slightly higher upside, Bailey's just ready to, like, in terms of serving that role, he's ready to go. That's all he's done over the course of his college career. And so I do think it makes more sense. And then in the last 48 hours, Daniel Jeremiah from NFL Network and Peter Schrager from ESPN have both come out and have said that, yeah, I think that it'll end up being David Bailey at number 2 for the New York Jets. And so I do think there are some interesting ripple effects that happen from that point on in the rest of the top 10, as I've ripped up the first half of my mock draft in the last few hours to account for this. But it's it honestly, though, this edge rusher group, it's a good group overall.
It is a good group. And I also saw that Peter Schrager mock, and my number one takeaway was, I imagine the same as yours, he didn't have Keldric Faulk in the first round. What's going on? What are we missing?
Honestly, man, it's one of the big mysteries for me right now in this class is the lack of love for the profile of Keldric Faulk. And you said it. Like, to me, in any year, like, regardless of class strength, this is a profile that you bet on. That's one of my lines that I've been using in talking about Keldric Faulk, because a lot of the, some of the other markets that I've jumped on, in Dallas, they're talking, there are people that want Keldric Faulk, and then people are like, oh, absolutely not. To me, this is not even the same conversation as Shamar Stewart a year ago.
How dare you? How dare you?
That's what I mean. Like, well, people are talking about it the same way. It's like, oh, this guy didn't produce. And to your point, yeah, he had 2 sacks last year. He had 7 the year before as a 19-year-old in the SEC. Shamar Stewart didn't breathe on a quarterback for 2 years. So, to me, when I'm looking at Keldric Faulk, this is a player where you're just checking boxes across the board. He's athletic for his size. He's got versatility, high character, clean medical, the position versatility, the ability to win from multiple techniques. He can win against the run. Yes, he's got to get a little bit better as a rusher, but he doesn't turn 21 until the fall. To me, I'm betting on that profile 99 times out of 100.
Couldn't agree more.
Okay. And then where do you fall on the day 2 guys? I mean, we can see how you have them ranked. You have R. Mason Thomas just a smidge above Dani Dennis-Sutton.
I am glad that you shared the nugget about his name. That is one of my favorite anecdotes from this class, R. Mason Thomas, and then his name origin story there. But I like Dani Dennis-Sutton, and so I agree with both of you guys there. I think that, in talking with sources in the building there in Penn State too, they've kind of raved about just kind of the he's intrinsically motivated, right? Like, he's one of those guys that you kind of have to chase out of the weight room, after a tough loss. Like, you get back into the building and he's in there before anybody, like literally like that day, and they're like, no, like, get out of the building, go recover. Like that kind. He's that kind of work ethic, high standards for himself. So to me, like, this is a guy that I'm willing to bet on as well. And I know I'm a little bit higher on him than consensus, but to me, like, the play personality with the physical traits from the athletic testing, the personality, like, I'm willing to bet on Dani Dennis-Sutton.
All right. I asked you before, so you can put some thought into it, to identify some day 3 guys who you feel like are Eagles types, guys who might appeal to Howie Roseman and the people in that building. Who did you come up with?
Yeah, and you mentioned that they had Romello Height, the Texas Tech edge rusher, in for a visit. And to me, like, I don't see that fit really. Look, obviously there's some level of interest. The Eagles, I think they're out of the business of like doing pure smoke screens. I think they're kind of out of that. That may have been something that they did years ago, but I
wrote for Romello Height, I wrote more explosive Kyron Johnson.
Sure. Yeah. Right. I mean, that's kind of, and he's like, he's built almost like actually my comp for him was Josh Uche. So that's kind of like the body type that we're talking about. He's under 6'3". He's under 240 pounds. He's got below average length. He has got some like springs in his legs. Like, he's got some explosiveness, but a non-factor for the most part against the run. Like, he'll try and use his length, but he's not like a high factor there. And again, like a late breakout guy. He's been at 4 different schools, if memory serves, right?
Yes. Yeah, I was going to ask you if like you think maybe the 4 different schools, like, they just like want to get to know the guy, if that could be part of the reason to bring him in.
That's possible.
Without knowing too much about
that is
the
one of the
nature of that
objectives
stuff.
there often with situations like that is, I mean, we want to bring him in to see, like, is he our kind of guy?
Yeah.
To try and dig through that, especially because when you're at 4 different schools, the scouting, the scouts, the area scouts,
There are no
you're gonna get
reliable
wide
narrators.
No,
either.
exactly right.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so that's going to be a tough one. So now, schematically and from a profile standpoint, who are some players that stand out as potential day 3 options for the Eagles? The first name that comes to mind is LT Overton from Alabama. The Eagles have drafted a lot of Alabama players in the recent past, and I think when you're looking at Overton, he could be another guy that I think fits the model. He's going to be he's 21 years old when he's drafted. Well, he's 21 years old when camp breaks. Former big time recruit, first at Texas A&M, and spent a couple years there, and then bounced over to Alabama for the last 2 seasons. Now, he has not been productive. He's a player that when you're watching him, he kind of leaves you wanting more, where you're like, yeah, I don't know if the sum is greater than the total is greater than the sum of the parts, or whatever
Right.
the thing is there. Like, you always think like it's going to be a little bit better than what you're seeing. But at the end of the day, he's got some scheme versatility, right? Like, I think he's got position versatility, rather, where he can line up at a couple different spots. They lined him up often tight to the formation. So, much like what we're talking about with Keldric Faulk, he's got some of that alignment versatility, which I think is important in this Vic Fangio scheme. I mentioned the youth. That's something that we've seen from Howie Roseman in the past. They will take swings on younger players in day 3. By the time you get to day 3, especially now, most of the 21-year-olds, 22-year-olds are soaked up. But the guys that do bleed through, we've seen that the Eagles will take stabs at those guys. And so when I look at Overton, I think schematically there's a fit there. I think that when you're looking at the profile, it makes some sense. He's a guy that kind of stands out, especially, again, given the inroads at Alabama.
I kind of liked watching him. He was consistently the last guy off the ball.
Yes.
Like time after time after time, which reminded me of Josh Sweat at training camp a couple years ago. But he's then like explosive off the ball. I liked watching him, and I think, as we talked about the reasons that Keldric Faulk would make sense for this roster construction, LT Overton checks those same boxes, where he's giving you some cover in multiple ways. And as you said, going to the Alabama well is something that they're comfortable doing.
If you told me that he was the 53rd pick in the draft, like, that wouldn't shock me. This is a guy that back in the summer, early stages of the fall, that he was viewed as a potential first-round pick. Like, he has been talked about like that in the zeitgeist for the last calendar year. But like I said, the lack of production, you're always just kind of left wanting when you're watching him. And everyone kind of had their eyes focused on him here this year, and he just did not really meet that standard. So I think when you're looking at Overton, there's a lot to like, but also reasons why I could think that he could slip a bit especially in this edge rusher class, because it's one of the stronger groups in this class.
You want to talk about a guy, knowing your enemy, an edge rusher with the name LT, like, fantastic.
I believe the given name is, I want to make sure I say this right, Lebbeus. Yeah, given name is Lebbeus. And his dad he was a former college offensive lineman, and he's the AD at Kennesaw State.
Okay,
that's fun.
Yeah.
All right, who is the second player who you identified as a potential Eagles fit?
Yeah, this is a guy that I saw up close at the Shrine Bowl from Duke, which we know that the Eagles have added a number of Duke players over the last
coaches.
Over recent history as
they
well.
have a good source in that building.
Yep.
Somewhere, yes, exactly right. Who knows? But I think when you're looking at Wesley Williams, the redshirt junior. Again, another player that's got some position versatility, where they like to kick him inside at times. So I think when you're looking at players that have fit this mold in the past, you look at Vic Fangio and his history, they've had success with players that have that alignment versatility and flexibility to be able to wear a number of different hats for the defensive front. He's another one where I just liked the play personality. I enjoyed watching him on film. He's got heavy hands. He can reset the line of scrimmage. He can do things well in the run game. High effort in the pass rush game. He's not going to blow you away with like his first step, and that's not necessarily his bag. But I will say that, just going down to the Shrine Bowl and the access we get down there, like down on the sidelines. First one on the field, last one off the field, type of thing. Extremely engaged with the coaches, the NFL coaching that he got down there at that event. And so watching him on tape, there was another rusher. Anthony Vincent Anthony from
Kerry
Vincent.
Vincent.
That's what said it's like right up your alley.
But he's another Duke edge rusher in this class, and he went to the Senior Bowl. Williams was at the Shrine Bowl. I'll take Williams every day. Anthony kind of reminded me of like Alex McAllister when the Eagles drafted him back in
Yeah.
2011. And he was kind of, really wiry and long-limbed, and I just not my bag. But with Williams, I think when you're looking at his that alignment versatility and the play personality, I think that would play well here in Philly.
All right. I think that's a good one. That's a good one to keep in mind, I think. All right. Do you have a little bit more time, Fran? Can you stay with us through the break? All right, let's do it. We'll go to break and come back with EJ and I will pick a day 3 guy each, and then we'll sort of buzz through the rest with Fran, get his thoughts as the Eagles look to add the group with Nolan Smith, Jalyx Hunt, and of course, Joe Tryon-Shoyinka.
Whether your favorite team wins or not, there's always another way to win on the BetParx online casino app. Check out brand new casino games like Huff and More Puff and Fireblaze Sky Queen, a BetParx exclusive. The only app you need to play all your favorite casino games in the palm of your hand. Play blackjack, roulette, craps, poker, baccarat, and hot online slots like Cash Eruption, 88 Fortunes, and Cleopatra online slots. Play hot online slots based on your favorite streaming shows, Walking Dead, Squid Game, Breaking Bad, and Peaky Blinders, and all your favorite classic casino games from wherever you are. New users get up to $1,000 casino bonus back if you're down in the first 24 hours. Go to betparx.com and download the app right now and enjoy all the action and excitement from the casino at your fingertips. You must be 21 and in Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Maryland, or Michigan for BetParx. You love to play, you play to win, you bet BetParx. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
The non-stop excitement of Team Boxing League returns to Philly on Saturday, April 11th. Philly Smoke is back at it against the Las Vegas Hustle on Saturday, April 11th at Harrah's Philadelphia Casino in Chester, PA. Both teams are 1-0 to start the season, and they both look unbeatable. Go to teamboxingleague.com to buy tickets now. If you haven't watched Team Boxing, you won't be disappointed. 16 fighters on each team, all weight classes, men, women, non-stop action. Team Boxing League, where every round is the last round. Go to teamboxingleague.com now and get your tickets while you still can. Las Vegas Hustle visits your Philly Smoke live at Harrah's Philadelphia Casino on Saturday, April 11th. Fists start flying at 7 p.m. Back in the PHLY Eagles podcast. D-block time.
Michael Buffer might be a listener to the show. He's a avid Eagles fan.
Really? Bruce Buffer is an occasional Anthony guest, I believe.
There we go.
Yeah. Okay. Do you have a day 3 guy that you like?
I do.
Now I think for the visual listeners, for the people watching on YouTube, I think what's important here is as EJ says his person, pay attention to Fran's face because he's very expressive.
He is very expressive. I agree with that. I'm not certain that this guy will be there on day 3, but I'm going to cheat a little bit and say like a 4th or 5th round pick.
Okay.
On Jaishawn Barham from Michigan. You like him?
I like Jaishawn Barham.
I like him too. This might be me cheating a little bit, but I think early day 3 he might make it there.
I think so.
6'3".
He is the other edge rusher from Michigan, where Derek Moore is expected to go higher.
And he's like we have Gabe Backus at home to me a little bit. He's smaller than Gabe Backus. He's 6'3", 240 pounds, and he's got shorter arms. But the thing that I liked about him,
he's got long arms. He's got 34 and an 1/8 inch arms.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know why I wrote down short arms. I apologize.
I have my spreadsheet here.
The thing that I liked about Jaishawn Barham, the reason why I'm like, okay, like I could see the Eagles being in on him, is he kind of does remind me of Nolan Smith, just in that he's like a battering ram, like that he just flies around.
Yeah,
he's just like a high energy player. So yeah, I think Vic Fangio would be in on Jaishawn Barham, and yeah, I think he could make sense as a rotational piece, especially if you are trying to figure out what you're going to do long term with Nolan Smith.
Now, Fran, am I right? He was playing sort of a tweener role until this year when he got to finally just sort of settle in on the edge.
He was a true linebacker for his first 3 years and changed. Like started the season as a true linebacker, and then they moved him to the edge full time. It was like late September. It was like the 3rd game of the season. So I'm sure they toyed with it throughout the course of the summer, and then just decided to make the move just to get best 11 on the field. So it'll be an adjustment for him. When I watched him over the summer off the 2024 tape, I thought, I wonder if he is better served to be like an edge convert moving into the NFL. So it was good to be able to see him go through it, but He's definitely going to be a bit of a developmental player. Wasn't at the Senior Bowl, wasn't at the Shrine Bowl, was at the Combine. But this guy who's played a decent amount of football. It's just again kind of adjusting to a new position.
I like him.
Yeah, he's a fun
He's got a
player to
little
watch.
juice. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he doesn't feel, as opposed to some of the other edge guys who I like watching, the speed guys, they got a nice little dip, but they're really never going to get on the field on first and second down. I think Barham could stay on the field.
Yeah, he's got that Nolan
Ideally,
Smith trait where it's he might be small, but he's his motor and his physicality mean that he still might be viable on early downs.
Fran, this guy's probably also a third round guy, but what did you think of Malachi Lawrence?
Well, there's been some buzz that he could go even earlier than that,
really,
just because of how he tested. Yeah,
tested crazy.
He's 41 on the consensus big board.
Is he really?
Yeah, because I did the same thing you did. I was I like him. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you see the explosiveness. I feel like you see it not when he's coming off the ball, but rather when he is closing in on a ball carrier.
Completely agree with that.
And it's fun. It's he's then enveloping those people, and it's those are cool traits. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think the profile is worth a second or third round pick for me.
I mean, the thing is too, is that he is one of the more skilled rushers in this class. So if you're going to say, okay, well, he's really good with his hands. If you just go and you just watch all of his, pressures, all of his sacks, whatever you want to watch, and say all right, how does he win? It's an impressive wide array of moves. He's got a number of ways that he can win at the top of the rush. Now that said, I do think there's a little bit of one trick pony-ish to him, where it's while he's got a lot of moves, it's mostly high side, outside rush moves. He's not necessarily always winning to the inside. The run game was just okay, right? So I'm I've gone back and forth because I really want to like the player, because I said I really like skilled rushers, and the fact that he blew the doors off the testing that was not expected. I did not expect him to test the way that he did. I have not pushed him way up my rankings since then, just because I agree with you that I don't necessarily always see that athleticism pop off the ball. I do see it when he closes, but not necessarily early in the down. And so I do think that it's a little bit of an upside swing. He's probably going to go earlier than I personally would feel comfortable with. Like the Duke pairing, there's another UCF pass rusher, and Nigel Kelly, who was a 4 or 5 star recruit coming out of high school, went to Miami, then transferred to UCF. So those guys played opposite each other. And Nigel Kelly is 6'5", 245, long arms, really looks the part. And I didn't think it was close. Malachi Lawrence, much, much better player, and he was more productive this year. But I think when you're that, honestly, EJ, I thought you were going to say you like Nigel Kelly because of your traits, your traits fetish. But, to me, when I was looking at Lawrence, I really like the player. I've always felt, third round, something like that. But now you're hearing he could go in the end of the first round and certainly in the second round. So probably a little rich for me.
I will give you two guys who are a little bit interesting to me, but first I want to ask you about Cashius Howell, who I think there's some people in chat who you are much lower on him than consensus. He's your edge 16. Got that nice little dip move, he can turn the edge, but I don't know if he can stay on the field on first and second down. What's your book on Cashius Howell?
Yeah, I don't know that he's going to be impactful enough against the run to be a 3-down presence, and so that's going to be a concern for me. And then at his size, and EJ said it a couple times, the lack of length, it's not a problem until it's a problem. To me, when I watched Howell over the summer and then again this fall, it was a problem for him, whether it was getting off blocks in the run game or being able to win consistently low side as a rusher. And so to me, if I'm looking, I'm all right, it's kind of like the tight end conversation we were having yesterday. The guys that can serve as blockers, if they can't, then what does that mean? If I'm looking at Cashius Howell, I'm all right, well, he's going to be a situational pass rusher, right? You get into R. Mason Thomas. So I think that's probably the book on him too, right? He's not going to be a pure 3-down player, but I do think he could be a terror on rush downs. That's fine. That's valuable. I don't look at Howell as having that same level of juice as an athlete. I think he's a fine athlete, but at that size, given his skill set and his likely role, I kind of need him to be a good athlete. I need him to be a guy that can threaten off the edge and really give you some juice there. And I just don't see that. I do think that he's got some skill. I think there are some nice reps there where he shows the ability to win at the top of the rush, but going up against NFL tackles on a consistent basis. I don't know that he's going to be able to do that. And so, this is a guy that began his career at Bowling Green, and he had a one season of real production there at BGSU. Transferred to Texas A&M, came off the bench in 2024 behind a bunch of NFL players along the defensive line, but didn't really sniff the lineup too much. And then took over this year and was very productive in the SEC. But I just worry about the long-term viability of a guy with that skill set.
All right, I'll give you my two. We're talking like 6th, 7th round guys. I'm gonna give you the speed guy and then the big honking guy. The speed guy, I kind of like Trey Moore of the speed guys from Texas, and I know
Get there.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think
I'm hating on all the
just a little bit enough juice. Now, I also don't think that I would use a pick on a player like that. I feel like the Kyron Johnson experience has kind of influenced that for me. I think if an edge guy is going to be that small and he's going to be worthwhile, he's going to go in the first 3 rounds. He's going to have those like explosive tools. I think if you're drafting an edge on day 3, you're probably looking more for someone who's just going to fill out a room and can get you through a game on 1st and 2nd down. And if that's the case, this guy, I mean, the tools are not impressive. He's got 1 year as a starter. But I thought that Max Llewellyn was like against type for me. I think he could stay on the field.
Yeah, it is against type for you. I'm very surprised that was.
I know. I surprised myself. I got to trust the tape.
Actually, you said that was very funny. He's like, "Whoa."
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't get there with Llewellyn. I think that to me, like, there are some effort plays on tape, and there are some flashes where I'm like, oh, okay, I can kind of see it. And maybe he's like a 4th or 5th guy to fill out the room, like you said. But I did prefer Trey Moore to his skill set. Just the fact that like he couldn't crack the lineup until this past year.
Yeah, it's not great.
With some of his limitations, that was just a tough profile for me to bet on.
Yeah, with Trey Moore, it really concerned me. Like, he was very productive at UTSA and struggled to be even remotely close to that production level at Texas. Like, only going to get harder for you. Yeah, I don't know.
And this goes to the Eagles draft philosophy on late day 3. They're drafting guys who they think can turn into starters eventually. So I honestly don't think either of those guys makes a lot of sense for the Eagles late in the draft.
Maybe you talk yourself into Trey Moore having upside, but yeah.
Okay,
I'm with you. It's tough to draft an edge that late.
All right. Before we let you go, friend, let's check out this super chat, because there's a very heartwarming thing going on in the chat. As our friend Jake has shared some news with us. He says, "This is my favorite podcast, and I never miss an episode. However, last Friday morning while listening, my dog Lola passed away in the backseat of my car. I am struggling to cope and just want to enjoy the show again." And then he adds another super chat. "Can you please give Lola May Calderon a shout out? She was my everything. 10/11/2014 to 4/3/2026. Love you guys." And you can see that the super chat numbers are related to the birthday there.
I'm sorry to hear that, Jake. I think about this a lot with my dogs. I've got an older dog at this point, and it's like they go through you with so many different phases of life. I'm gonna get choked up talking about this. That like they do become. I mean, it's like, it's almost an understatement to say that they become like your family members. They become, of
course,
so much. You just love them a lot. That's what I would say. So I'm sorry, Jake. Very sorry.
Yeah. That's EJ said it better than I could. It's tough. You become very, very attached, and 12 years. I'm sure Lola lives a great life.
Yeah.
You gotta, that's a tough loss. I'm really sorry to hear that.
Shout out to Lola and shout out to Jake.
Shout out to Lola. Yeah.
Member of the family. Come on.
They're like the constant in your life, and
Absolutely.
they are like your grounding force a lot of times. So very sorry, Jake.
Mm-hmm. I'm waiting like 20 seconds, but go ahead, Fran.
We have our cat is named Lola. So
yeah.
LOLA Lola. La 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 Lola.
Yes.
I mean, come on.
There. Yeah.
I'm waiting like 6 seconds now.
Bo, did you end up watching Nadame Tucker?
I will tell you the answer to that, Fran, in
Old
Lola time.
Nice.
And the answer to your question, Fran, is no. Should I?
No, you don't need to. So
Will be
Nadame Tucker.
26 years old when he reports to NFL training camp. Bo ain't watching that guy.
No.
Yeah,
Well,
that is
here's
wild.
the funny backstory here. Okay, so it was like mid October. You know, it was right around the time when you're starting to get all right, like Senior Bowl invites are going to be like starting to go out soon. All-Star game invites starting to go out soon. And I had a scout message me from the Midwest and say, "Hey, have you watched the Western Michigan pass rusher yet?" And I was like, "No, no, yeah, he had been really productive over the first few weeks." So before I watch a player, I'll do the bio first, right? Like so, you know, like, get all the background. So I go through and just really fast. I'm like, all right, he transferred in
Oh
from
yeah,
Houston.
you told me about this guy.
Yeah, right when it happened. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
So he spent 2 years at JUCO, 2020, 2021, and then he spent 3 seasons at Houston, where he amassed 10 tackles, 1.5 TFLs, and no sacks in 3 years. And I'm like, oh, okay. And he turns 26 before the draft. I'm like, oh, all right. He better be Superman. Like he bet like if he's gonna go day two, like the tape better be like unbelievable. And the tape was okay.
He's
Like, it's
Superman,
okay.
but the only power he has is he can see through people's clothes, so it doesn't help him on the field very much.
Well, it's, I'm like watching it. I'm like, all right, like the tape is fine. And then he goes to the Senior Bowl and he comes in really small across the board, like short arms,
Wait, why did he go to
underweight.
the Senior Bowl?
Because he's a
Oh,
senior.
all right, cool.
Wait, hold on a second.
Senior citizen.
Yes, the Senior Citizen Bowl. So like Nadame Tucker, yeah. As soon as I saw the profile, I was like, oh, this is gonna be Bo. Can't wait to sink his teeth into this one. But
I mean, this guy was almost born in the 1990s. Like
hashtag older than EJ.
Yeah, but say like it's usually a joke. This guy is almost my age.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, just that's a tough profile. Now,
Yeah.
he led the country in sacks this past year. He had 14 and a half sacks and all that. Like, you know, so he goes from zero
Okay, I guess he
production
gets to go to the
1
Senior
year
Bowl
of
for
great
that,
production.
yeah.
But yes, exactly.
Okay. Last thing, just to circle back on a conversation from 50 minutes ago, how would you feel about T.J. Parker at 23?
Oh, I was gonna do this. Okay, let me do this. Would you rather have TJ Parker in round 1, Dani Dennis-Sutton in round 2,
Okay, this is good.
or I'm gonna go with all my guys, Jaishawn Barham in round 4?
I think I would go Dani Dennis-Sutton in round 2.
Ooh, that gets me
Yeah,
excited.
I like TJ Parker. I will say, guys, I alluded to the fact I'm doing my mock draft right now, and I think I'm at pick 22. I'm at the pick before the Eagles.
Oh,
The board has been like decimated. This is like this is a
Okay.
rough scenario. I think now there are plenty of offensive linemen available, so I think like all right, like you know, it'll be an offensive lineman almost surely as I'm looking through this, but yeah, it's a lot of the players that we've kind of picked for the, you know, like Keldric Faulk's not there, Kenyon Sadiq's not there, Concepcion's not there. Yeah, it's been a little bit of tough sledding for the Eagles and the picks leading up.
wait, so who's on the
I
board?
would say I want to make a pick. Now.
Yeah.
I feel like this is good for
Yeah,
content.
so like I said, I'm in the middle of
let's
the
reset
chart.
this. Let's
Yeah,
reset
I'm
this.
not
Yeah.
picking-
Let's clip farm. Let's clip
Yeah.
farm, as the kids say.
Here we
All
go.
right, so
3, 2. All right, Fran, you are working on your mock draft that's going to appear on allphly.com, and you have made it to the Eagles pick at 23. Who's available?
yeah, so here's who is not available really quickly. So
Okay.
Vega Ioane, the guard from Penn State, he just went off the board. Dylan Thieneman, he's off the board. Casey Concepcion, Kenyon Sadiq, TJ Parker, Peter Woods is off the board. Keldric Faulk off the board. All the top 3 receivers are off the board. So it's heavy offensive linemen. So I'm looking at all right, like Caden Proctor from Alabama is there, Monroe Freeling from Georgia is there, Maxi Honachor and Caleb Lomu are all there. So 4 of the top 7 offensive tackles are still on the board here in this universe. Which, you know, if you're an Eagles fan and you want an offensive lineman, this is a good scenario. If you want something other than an offensive lineman, and you're hoping to wait. This is tough luck for you, but that's kind of what you're looking at here. You know, Avion Terrell, if you want a non-offensive lineman, he is still available. Emmanuel McNeil Warren, the safety from Toledo, is still on the board. Outside of that, I don't think you're really leaning in any of these other directions.
Okay, and so which offensive lineman would you go with then?
Well, like I said, I still have to pick for the Chargers. So we'll
Okay.
see if they end up taking one of these guys. But because again, like the way I do a mock draft personally is I do not like, oh, I'm gonna pen this guy. It's one.
Oh, you
pick
got to
at
do
time.
one at a
So I
time.
focus on-
Absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly right. Some people don't do it that way. You know, I'll just so probably Proctor. You know, I just think that's probably the upside swing. and I know we'll do an offensive lineman episode at some point, but
Sure will.
I think when you're looking at Freeling, I think he makes sense. He's young, only a 1-year starter, developmental type. I think when you look at Ihanachour, as we've talked about really throughout the course of the process, I think he checks a lot of boxes as well. Yeah, they'll have their pick if they want an offensive tackle. They'll have it's good options there.
I'm probably going Freeling. I'm a little worried about Proctor only being
Would or predicting what the Eagles would do?
Right.
Yes.
You would do both.
I think the Eagles might go Proctor. I'll go Freeling.
Okay. Well, to find out the actual answer, you'll have to check out Fran's mock draft on allphly.com. Close. Last one for you. On the board, let's say those offensive linemen are off the board. T.J. Parker or Kenyon Sadiq?
Sadiq.
Okay. You would rather have the potentially elite player at a non-premium position than the good player at a premium position.
Yeah.
Solid player. Yeah. Because I like Parker. I think he's a solid player, but I think Sadiq can be both a solid player while also, has the potential to be like a game breaker as well.
Okay.
In going through this exercise, one of the things I did last week, I started reaching out to media types at all the different markets, just kind of like, all right, like what are we thinking here? Some of the names and some of the needs. I think that there are a lot of spots in the build up to the Eagles where Sadiq could sneakily fall in there.
Yep.
I think it probably starts with the Ravens at 14.
Yep.
Where it's like, all right, as early as that. And then, but with like Keldric Faulk, and again, I'm thinking like non-offensive lineman. Faulk, I think there are a couple spots, like Carolina, Detroit, I think makes some sense, Tampa, but yeah, there's a chance that Faulk is there, which it'll be an interesting discussion.
I just thought, if Detroit got Keldric Faulk, the Eagles would be in some trouble. I mean, he's a good player. It's a good player.
At most,
it's some trouble.
Yeah, I mean, it's something like this.
I didn't know what to say.
It's like when EJ asked me yesterday before the show, what's his name?
I mean, it's a good edge rusher group. That's all I was saying. The lines.
The freaking Giants defensive tackle.
Dexter Lawrence?
Dexter Lawrence.
Oh, no, that was
trade. Is that good or bad for the Eagles? Probably good. I mean,
no,
the team,
because,
that's good for them.
There's then the upshot is that he's going to get traded. He's going to sign somewhere. He's going to sign a big deal that might influence the Jalen Carter market.
So what? They're going to pay Jalen Carter a lot of money, and no matter what.
It's my job to look at NFL news and think, how does this affect the Eagles? That's what I do with everything.
Okay.
I mean, I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't do that.
All of a sudden, I'm out on Keldric Faulk after really loving him throughout the whole process. Now the idea that him going to the Lions would ruin the Eagles franchise is too much for me to take.
Really, it's
a good edge rusher group for Detroit to have.
All right. Thank you, Fran. We will see you in studio tomorrow.
Yep. Looking forward to it, guys.
All right. And that will do it for this episode of the PHLY Eagles podcast. Thank you, Lindsay. Thank you, Fran. Thank you, everybody in the chat. Shout out to Lola one more time.
Shout out, Lola.
And that'll do it for this episode. We will talk to you tomorrow. Comment below.
Yeah, just comment below. We don't have a prompt for today. Can't have a prompt every day.
As always, we love you.
We all silly like the mayor.